guys, today officially starts up the 2024 habitat season for us. We're going to start cranking out episodes. Today's project, we're going to head up on top of this ridge. We're working on a new food source. We're making a brand new food plot. And so we're going to map it out. We're going to assess what kind of timber needs removed, what kind of invasives. Brought the little electric saw with me to just run through there, get rid of any honeysuckle. Put a map together as far as how we want to design the food plot, and then create, quality access, figure out where our deer stand location needs to be, and kind of how the deer are going to funnel in and out of this. And it's been something we've been slowly putting together over the years, just kind of been mapping this. Now that the farms are really starting to tie together, it's time to get this done. So today's project, go up there. We're also going to be removing some trail cameras from the farm. I haven't checked many of the SD cards since about December, so want to go through and pull all those cards and see if our number one target's still around. I'm hoping he is. Working our way up the ridge now. We just came down to our timber pond, and there was a pile of deer bedded over on that hillside there. We just kicked them up. So the food source can be right up here, very top of this knob. We got a nice trail system that comes down to this timber pond here. A lot of white oaks down the hill. Got a good stand location down there. And what we're thinking is, come from the road, come up the backside of this hill. We threw a stand up here late season, overlooking that knob. There's no food plot or anything, it's just a clearing. We've been removing invasives. Well, we made it to the top. So here's the clearing we've got so far. It's actually coming together pretty good. Got a bunch of junk out of here, mostly heads and stuff. We wrung all the locusts, put chemical in those. They're slowly dying off. Plan is with the design up here is I'm going to probably make an L shape more than likely. So we got a trail that runs down to the timber pond. You come up, this is kind of circular right now, but the plan is to make it come like this, and then I want it to 90 right there. So make a big L, and then this will be the corner. And we got a lone wolf right back behind all this brush here. Tucked in, we threw that in, only hunted it a couple times, but we got a lot of deer come out of all the thick bedding back there and work in here. And we had one doe one night come from the timber pond back up in here. So we know the design's gonna work. We just need to get the rest of this junk cleared out. There's a lot of dead trees in here we need to fell, come through, clean everything, get rid of this hedge here, get rid of a few more hardwood trees back on this corner. I'm gonna leave that black cherry. That is one big tree. Not gonna mess with that, but we will get rid of this stuff here so that we can come up and bend, clear all this out through here too. It's not going to be a very large food source, but it is going to be a good spot. It's going to have thick security cover. It's going to be that type of spot where during the rut, especially when you have neighboring pressure, I bet the deer are going to tend to come here. I've got plenty of intel telling me this season that big 8-pointer came through here. I had the short G2 buck pretty close to range, about 40 yards, 45 yards behind some stuff during November, down by the timber pond. So they gravitate to this area. We just need to come up with a really good system. I think this is going to be it. Alright, so we're on the back side of the food source now. That 90 we were talking about would come out and then enter this part of the farm. There's some ridges, a couple little valleys that run through here, and they kind of all pinch up to a flat down there. What I wanted to show you guys why this is a good spot. If you look, there's beds all over these hillsides here, and as we come through, remove some of the hardwoods to open up the canopy, get more sunlight in here, creates more food and more cover, creating really good, thick depth throughout this farm. They're going to tend to bed here even more, and then when you have a quality green food plot up on top there, they're going to gravitate to that spot. So they're not going to bed overly far away from that food source. There's also enough ground from here to the other food source that we can fit quite a few deer back in here. And if the does begin bedding closer to the food plot, it's going to give more room for the bucks on the backside of this farm to bed, and they'll all kind of transition to that same food source though. Just giving you guys some ideas as far as when you're creating food plots, what I like to look for. I want to be close to bedding. I also want to be as far away from like a neighbor as I can. I'm not trying to set food up right next to their property line. I'm usually trying to set up closer to a road or somewhere I can blow my wind with good access. Sometimes you got to get intrusive though. This one's a little bit more intrusive, but this is also going to be that spot come late November. It's going to be money back here. Alright guys, so during late season, one thing I really like to do, if I'm mapping out an area and I think that I might put a food source in it like here, I want to know what kind of traffic I got going on, where they're likely bedded, and I want to know where they're going to as far as a destination food source, whether that's, you know, big ag or maybe a hay field or something. So with this spot in specific, you can see where the hard transition is from this open hardwoods to the thick cover. And right on that corner, that's where I've talked about before, I like to put a trail camera. We put one up this late season and catch these bucks coming through here, because there is a hard rub line that comes through here. Rub, 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 and it goes all the way along this bridge down to our biggest destination food plot that this season. That food source has been there for about 4 years now. We've been slowly opening it up, cutting more hardwoods, you know, trying to remove the canopy and get quality food in there. But a lot of deer like to bed and gravitate towards this top of the property, and I'd really like to have a food plot up here. So I'm thinking this inside corner down here, it would be a really good early season spot. There's a lot of white oaks. I would leave the white oaks that are producing, and then I'll also add some food up here. Just trying to find a deer stand location now. So we're gonna walk this edge, check this rub line, and start looking for a good tree to hang in. Thanks for tuning in on this week's episode. We'll continue to update you guys on these new food plots that we're implementing. We have much more habitat content coming your way. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks again, guys.